IGF Apoli TV. Canelo versus Munguía is upon us. All the promotion is done. All the talk is over. The guys are weighed in. You know what? Canelo was weighed in a little bit lighter today, actually. A bit under 167 pounds. Bit surprising because I don't think he makes the super middleweight division that easily, and I heard he gains a lot of weight overnight. But for all intents and purposes, Jaime Munguía is a super middleweight that is a big super middleweight. He's a guy who actually, probably close to 6 feet tall and will probably gain a lot of weight as well tomorrow night. Also, another thing I don't really like, with these new style weigh-ins that they do, the weigh-in they do for the public is actually in the afternoon, like late afternoon, but the real weigh-in is in the morning, the day before the fight. The late afternoon weigh-in is the day before the fight, obviously, and everybody, I don't know how many people still think that that's the actual weigh-in. They're now weighing in a full day and almost 2 days before the fight, or at least a full day and a half. They're weighing in at like 9 o'clock in the morning on Friday morning, and then fighting it Saturday night, which is insanity, bro. Yeah, it's insanity. I mean, you didn't get to the point that is actually a full 24 hours prior to what it was, say, in the 80s. It was just wild. Then people complaining about how guys gain weight overnight. I mean, how much more time you want? What are you gonna start weighing a week? Why don't you, at this point, just make it a week before? Forget the weigh-in. You know what? Just fight the way you do at this point. What's the point? I mean, you get to the point where what's the point of the weigh-in, right? Anyway, enough on that. Let's discuss the fight. Munguía looked good with Freddie Rocha in the John Ryder fight, but of course you got to say how much does John Ryder have left after he did fight Canelo last year. I'll say this. I think Munguía, if he doesn't shorten up his punches, is going to run into some problems with Canelo's counter-punching. I know Canelo's intensity is not that high. He likes to fight at a slow pace, and he needs to slow the pace down in order to give himself the best chance to win. And in order to slow the pace down, he's got to get a guy's respect, right? Because typically, if you I think the cat's out of the bag at this point. If you make the fight at a fast pace, Canelo will have problems. So, with Canelo, the way he's going to try to slow down the pace is to punch in between Munguía. If Munguía loses confidence, or even gets hurt, or gets buzzed, or even gets dropped or rocked, and maybe Munguía will oblige and slow down. If he's not able to slow down the pace of Munguía or get Munguia's respect with his power, punching with the shots thrown in between, then there's going to be issues here for Canelo in this fight as well. I don't know, man. Certainly, we've already rung the David Benavidez horse till it's dead. You know what I mean? At this point, we just keep talking about it. It's a clear duck he's made at this point of David Benavidez. So I don't know how much more we can talk about it. But Munguía is not exactly a cakewalk either. It's not the best contender. I don't even think Morrell is I don't even think Morrell is the guy that Canelo wants to see. I think both David Benavidez and David Morrell are better opponents than Jaime Munguía. But Munguía is at least a pretty solid opponent. It's an all-Mexican fight, so you kind of understand why the Cinco de Mayo thing against Munguía happens. It's weird to me, though. Canelo's been a good fighter. Listen, you got to give him the respect he does deserve. But, he's a bit manipulative in the way he's moved his career. Pay-per-views against Chavez Jr., pay-per-views against 40-year-old Golovkin after not giving him the rematch, the third fight, after the first two fights where, you could say he lost both of them. John Ryder pay-per-views, Ryder's solid, but you're making him go to, Mexico in a fight that, really wasn't ever going to win. And now with Benavidez and Morrell being the clear, better fighters than Munguía, he's fighting Munguía. Listen, you can do what you want. Again, my issue has been the title shot that, the rightful guy deserves, which is Benavidez. My issue, though, is Canelo has the power. Only in this moronic sport and business can guys do this. He can revoke your credentials, and he's done that to a couple of guys here, a few media guys for this fight. One of them is actually Juan Manuel Marquez, who will always have in the history books a better career, have had a better career than Canelo, and maybe that burns him. I don't know, man, because it's not just an outsider who's criticizing him. It's Juan Manuel Marquez, who is a Mexican himself. So at this point, you've created a situation where he banned Marquez of his credential, and he banned Eric Morales of his credential. And I've heard through the grapevine that Marco Antonio Barrera also is not banned because he hasn't spoken publicly, but through people that I know, Barrera has also complained about this guy Canelo. So, dude, at a certain point, if everybody is pointing the same finger at you for being a certain kind of person, it's probably you. It's not everybody else. It's a little bit disappointing to see this guy because, for example, the Celtics don't revoke Shaq or Kenny Smith's ability to cover a fight if they want to come to the arena. on game night just because they criticized them on TNT. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so, you know, can a guy really, is a guy really supposed to have this kind of power? Only in boxing can this moronic business can people do that. I mean, what is he, Putin? Where he doesn't like you, so he just zaps you when you're gone. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. Funny thing is, he did it to me many years ago. Actually did it to me when he fought Rocky Fielding. He had failed the steroid test around that time, and I'd been given some critical comments. And Sky Sports was trying to hire me for the Rocky Fielding fight because it was in New York, it was at MSG. And I found out the week of the fight that, you know, Canelo and Oscar, actually I heard it was Oscar too. So I can tell you the truth, I don't know if it was a tandem, because at that time he was a golden boy, but I was denied a credential as well. Either way, that was a long time ago. But either way, I mean, I just don't, like, is that what we really want? I mean, for you fans out there, I mean, I know there's a lot of Canelo blowhards who, you know, the guy can't do wrong, which is a bit creepy, you know, when you really think about it. When you root for a guy, when you're a full adult and you're not a child, and you root for a guy to where he can do no wrong, even when he's blatantly wrong. And here he's blatantly wrong on multiple facets. He's clearly ducked David Benavidez. He actually lied through his teeth this week to Stephen A. Smith on ESPN, and basically when Stephen A. Smith asked him about Benavidez, he said we can fight even Saturday if we get enough money. Then you're asking for $150 million. Well, what do you mean 100? Who gives you $150 million to fight anybody? You know what I mean? Like, it's wild. It's wild. And if you don't get $150 million, you'll fight the Uber Eats driver, but you won't fight Benavidez. Like, it's crazy, man. And not that Jaime Munguía is an Uber Eats driver. I mean, it's a solid guy. The funny thing is that I don't know what Canelo has left. I think he's only still a champion because he can pick and choose who he wants to fight. Otherwise, he would have been gone already. Having said that, there's an interesting dynamic to this fight because Freddie Roach is a kind of an ace in your sleeve. He's kind of a wild card here, pun intended. And if Canelo cannot slow the pace down, I could see Canelo punching in between Munguía and doing enough to get a close decision. As far as stoppages are concerned, I would be absolutely shocked if Canelo stops him, because Canelo hasn't made out a stoppage in a while. He just doesn't fight with that same intensity anymore. Munguía will fight with that intensity and that youth excitement. So I really don't see a stoppage here in this fight. But I could see maybe even like a controversial decision for Canelo, maybe close but controversial. I wouldn't say an outright robbery, or maybe even a draw. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a weird fight. I would be shocked if there's a stoppage in this fight in general. Because Canelo really hasn't stopped anybody in a while. I know Munguía is easy to hate, and he has been hurt by guys like Derevyanchenko. He's going to be up for this fight. He's big. It's also Mexico versus Mexico, which always brings out a little bit more machismo. I know even Canelo's a bit more motivated because of the dynamic he has with Oscar on fight week and the arguments and whatnot. And I know he doesn't want to lose to an Oscar fighter. So, you know, you put all these little things into the recipe, and then you start to wonder, wow, I mean, so anything might be possible. But I think it's going to be a close decision win for Canelo, possibly even controversial, with, you know, hedging it with maybe even a draw, you know. But I don't think Canelo's losing the titles this weekend, because one way or the other, I mean, it's you're dealing with politics, and you're dealing with a guy who, you know, kind of gets to call the shots. But I think my biggest takeaway from all this was the fact that Juan Manuel Marquez and Erik Morales were denied credentials this week. Two Hall of Fame Mexican fighters that I don't know. I don't even think Canelo can shine their shoes. I think when you have this much of a problem with literally everybody else, especially people in your own culture coming from your own country who have the respect and admiration of the entire country, I mean, I don't know, man. I like I said, I think that, you know, fans really got to start to at least reason with an open mind here, you know. I don't know if Canelo staying champion in the super middleweight division is even good for boxing. Yes, he sells a lot, but the people that actually follow him and are root for him hardcore this way, I don't even think they're really good for boxing themselves. I don't even think they care about boxing themselves. So I think anybody who really cares for boxing and wants to see this whole thing move in the right way, you know. And I don't think any one individual is worth killing the momentum for boxing whenever it does pick up momentum. So we'll see. I see, going back to the fight, I see a close decision for Canelo or even a draw. That's my prediction. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. For the Canelo crybabies in the comment section, I'm sorry, bro. But at this point, you know, you just got to come to a reality here, because it's getting to the point where it's getting pretty bad, bro. But still, you hope for the best and you hope for a great fight. I'm Paulie Malignaggi. This is Paulie TV.